this guy looks depressed, and this guy looks shocked. It's not a dead giveaway for a whole later, but it's still good information for us to use later on, because it's a completely unguarded moment that we can learn a lot from. And if we can imagine a bad reaction to a card with suspicious behavior later in the game, it gives us reason to think that they might be a werewolf. Now, our main character in this game is the Fox, and as the Fox, we have a very unique situation. If we are still alive when the team wins, then we automatically become the winners of the game, and all the surviving players die in the swamp. That's why it's awesome, because the other teams do the winning for you, as long as we don't get discovered. This is the only role in the game that allows us to play both sides to help the leading team win, because if anyone finds out we're the Fox, they'll kill us immediately. If we figure out who the werewolves are and they're the lead, then I pretend to be a stupid villager that's convinced by their lies and help them manipulate the other players. So we can keep lying because we're bad. And if we keep doing this without drawing suspicion, our past is bad to a Fox victory. Now, this might sound too close, and that's because it totally is. But I'll be damned if we don't do whatever it takes to run this death, even if it means one other people to die for one match. There is a real freshness to the way that it's always that you're one on your brain. Fresh 5 times longer than your flavor dies. Just last year and we're here for less than 30 months. It'll pay for itself the first week. 3, 2, 1, go!
Driving a brand new sports car on some desert terrain. The rush that comes from accelerating down the open road. What if I told you something new was on the horizon? A groundbreaking innovation.
Later that day, the Fox Ayaka finds some privacy to think about everything that's happened. Suddenly, her friend Ozawa joins her, and the Fox asks if she believes in love at first sight. But the other girl is shocked. She shouldn't be thinking about love when they're stuck in a death like this, and it makes her look suspicious. That's when they hear shouting in the distance. The girls run into the building, where they find these two students in a fight. This angry kid tried to go outside, but the other kid stopped him and Kodai here is furious. He refuses to participate in this death game, but the other kid thinks his reaction is funny because he might be a werewolf. Nobody trusts each other, and one student suggests they talk this out before it goes too far. They all sit down in a circle, and the seer identifies everyone that among the villagers there are 3 special groups. The seer can pick one character and discover if that person is a villager or a werewolf. A bodyguard can protect one person from getting killed by the werewolf so not himself, and the beacon can see if any dead player is a villager or a werewolf. That's when the seer comes up with a plan. He suggests that whoever had the seer card can confess their identity to the group.
Yeah,
So the villagers don't
supposed
mistake
to
him
be
for a
on the
werewolf.
podium.
Once they know who he is, the bodyguard can make sure
I guess you must have told me in the
protect him.
podium.
It's a risky strategy, but the seer is the only person who can confirm all the werewolves, and the villagers need this ability if they want to. He asks the seer to raise his hand on the count of 3, and everyone's surprised. The Fox Ayaka and the other players raise their hands. No one knows who to trust, but the skater boy has set them all up. He knew that the fox and a werewolf might pretend to be the seer to hide their moves from the other players, and now they've all painted targets on their backs. It was a stroke of genius, but suddenly this kid Sheik reveals that he's the real seer, and everyone else is lying. The boy tells the group he can prove his identity, but much smarter about her life than she was a villager. Instead, her technique makes it to a difficult job, because now she has no evidence for her claims to innocence. In the beginning of the game, you need to have fun with the boxes for the first of the box dials. Now,
yeah, when you say nothing, I know which one you're playing. I hate it, but I believe it. Yeah, I need to speak. Yeah, I know. No, I deleted it because I need to speak. Not because I couldn't. But I knew how to get the picture before I first made it. Because I looked it on YouTube.
But as much as I love death games, they're not the only thing that's wonderful about Japanese culture. Kamikoto makes beautiful, high-quality Japanese steel kitchen knives using traditional techniques from Japan. Each blade is crafted using techniques that tap into more than 800 years of traditional ironworking, swordsmithing, and metal casting, and have been honed and perfected by generations of experts. Kamikoto also uses scale sorcery. Each knife goes through a rigorous 15-step process that takes several years to start to finish to create unbelievably sharp-edged, single-bevel knives that can cut things like a samurai sword. Kamikoto knives come in beautiful natural colors, including ash bronze, which also makes a great gift for those who enjoy Filipinos. This Kamikoto Konpeki knife set includes one heavy vegetable knife, one slicing knife, and one utility knife. There is also the Kamikoto Santo blade, which is 7 inches long with a single bevel cut above many others. All the blades and handles have sections for each subtle yet steady muscle. With such high quality, Kamikoto knives are also armed by several steps of building and finishing stone breastplates. Everything from the application to the actual products, Kamikoto glorifies the Japanese spirit and the philosophy of everyone's touch. Selfless love. Why are they like a 5-inch utility knife with like a mini knife set? It's like weight and balance. What a ridiculous idea. Not for one, I'm amateur, but just a little bit of it's sharp experts, instruction to take advantage of their big sale and get $50 off any purchase. With my discount code, they can come in a sponsor this video. Here suggests they split up into 3 groups and split them out when she notices her crush flirting with the shy girl and she gets jealous. The fox is head over heels in love with this boy and she'll leave and which gets to hell. So explore the rest of the building and opens a sliding door and caution exits. At the end, the car brings to a giant sign warning and they walk past a mountain light that goes all the way around the property. The holders will go on and they work to escape this over spamming nowhere else to go. Besides exploring the rest of the building, upstairs they find their names written on a doors and they take out their own names. But as soon as everyone's gone, they remember seconds remaining. The entire room has to I was just terrified of you. Why does it make me more
Opening clouds, making the stars look fake. Green, the dark areas start to look fuzzy. How about the Gaming OLED by LG Display? The Gaming OLED by LG Display expresses gray spots, dark spots, and even colors very clearly by turning each and every pixel on and off. So, blue billion, shining, swirling stars, no problem. Let's actually see how big the difference is. For the conventional gaming monitor, the luminance fluctuates with the spatial moves because the backlight is busy catching up. The gaming OLED totally worked on a phase. Hey, when victory's on the line, what you see makes all the difference. So, gear up the gaming OLED. Play and see, as real as it gets in gaming.
The decision was unanimous. 11 was not one scene. Suddenly, the color around his neck starts to finally get its slices. He collapsed. The other players stared in horror as the world came to an end. At one point, the 11 were supposed to be this is real messed up. 11 students just ganged up on this kid and agreed that he should die based on zero evidence. That's how blood it was now, but the truth is, could I make things way more difficult? Because everybody copies the bodyguard. Now, the last time we had characters of the werewolf, the bodyguard should never reveal their identity because they're not allowed to protect themselves. This is a really big deal because as soon as the werewolves find out who the bodyguard is, they can target them for a guaranteed kill. Now, at this point in the game, we don't have very much information about what cards the other players have, so the only thing we can really use to judge them by is how they're reacting to the situation. This guy here was being very blunt, and too much negative attention, and it made him look very suspicious. Despite all of this, in this situation, I guarantee you we're going to be looking for other ways to proceed. What better way than to get yourself killed in the process? The perfect opportunity for this is to expect the others to see them. And if you look at how this thing tied behind his head, you can easily tell there's a technical reason. It takes about 50 kilograms of force to crush a target, but a device like this would have a very low body, so there might be something we can do to prevent it from closing over his throat. Like before they voted, they had the opportunity once they're closing over his throat to be active. I would make somebody else out of contention here for something that was wrong besides the law. If they find something that fits inside this gap, then of course the company is distributed. Why is someone saying this happening? This have enough push to do what they have to do. Having said that, game designers might not allow this to happen because it's interfering with their game, and that's exactly why I was ending this experiment myself. Because if there's a punishment for here, I don't want it to be one thing. Now there's one point I have to stand because the issue of the students didn't consider it as an option. We don't have to let them player in the game, but his main card is still somewhere on his person. Specifically saying that the card show up in the card. It doesn't say that you can show another person's card to someone else. It works because the card is something that doesn't say that you see. The whole strategy is based on an interpretation of the rules, and that's why I would only use it as a last resort. But if we were about to be voted for execution or murdered by a werewolf later in the game, pulling out someone else's card and showing it to the other players could be the perfect elevator tactic to get out of an impossible situation. Later that night, Kajibani here is looking in the kitchen for a weapon and pulls out a knife from the drawer. She's one of the 3 werewolves in the game, but the other 2... opportunity to reveal players who are much more suspicious. As a seer, your goal is to identify who's most likely to be the werewolf and reveal them. But the fact that these two players were chosen tells us that these decisions were not made with this objective in mind. The fox chose this guy because she's head over heels in love with him, and that makes this one of her biggest mistakes in the game. She's mentioned being crazy in love to her friends Ozuma and Tachibana on 2 separate occasions, and the girls were shocked that she would talk about love at a time like this. If they figure out that this is the kid she's in love with, they're going to realize that Ayaka here is being completely mindless, and they won't be able to trust her as a rule. This fox is sipping way too hard right now, and has no idea the danger she's putting herself in. That in the second voting session. This move Abby decides to speak up for the first time. She suggests that they shouldn't go to execute any of the seers yet, and they still don't know which of them is to be convinced, but she reminds them that once the seers are vision, they might be able to find out who's a werewolf. It makes sense, but the voting has up to him. Since the seers believe that her and the other boy are both villagers, she suggests they should have immunity from the voting tonight. The players agree with her logic and decide to find someone else to vote on, but the fox Ayaka has just found her chance to get some revenge. This girl has been jealous of Ana here ever since she saw her talking to her crush, and now she's gonna this game right up. She tells everyone that she's suspicious of Ana here because she's been quiet for the whole game and thinks she might be a wolf. This terrifies the shy girl, and Ana tells them she's only being quiet because she's trying to understand the game. Yosuke here sits up for her, saying that he should also be suspected for being quiet, but the girl points out she's already revealed him as a villager. The boy has an alibi for his innocence, but the girl doesn't. Breaking down, Anna insists she's just a villager, but with time running out, the group needs to make a decision. 5 people vote for the shy girl, 1 person votes for the skater boy, 1 person votes for the werewolf, 1 person votes for Kentaro, the other werewolf, and 2 people vote for Joe, the nerdy student. With that, the shy girl's collar tightens around her neck, and the players look on in horror as she becomes the 3rd victim of this game.
This is the only time.
That's 3 down, with 9 more students to go. Okay, Ayaka here is a complete lunatic. She's turning this death game into her own private soap opera, all because she can't keep her emotions in check. Look at her face here. She's loving that she can get some sweet revenge, when all Anna did was have a casual conversation with this guy. Normally this wouldn't be such a big deal, but when you're in a death game with a bunch of high schoolers like this, petty drama can get you murdered if you're not being careful. And frankly, it scares the shit out of me. Imagine if you took Lindsay Lohan and the Mean Girls and put them all in a death game and that should happen. Thing you've ever seen. Now, what's hilarious is that as the boss, this girl can only survive by being a sole winner. That means if she wants to live, she'll have to kill her crush. And for unfortunately, then she must not. Ayaka here literally has 0 chances at a relationship with this boy, but she has so much denial that she can't even see the death game as what it is. As a result, the werewolves have engaged. Hachimani here is anxious that the 3rd werewolf still hasn't shown up. He asks the boy if the girl that hurt here could be he says he doesn't know. The 2 wolves decide they'll target the skater because it has been broken windows. When they open it, the player inside backs away from his desk and screams in terror, but the werewolf cries in dark. Suddenly, they hear a window open and realize the player is crying in his sleep. Running inside, they look at the window to find him escaping from the property, but his car activates and kills him. It's his punishment for stepping inside the boundary line and he has to burn down with 3 more students to go. The werewolves are about to head back to the place, but that's when the girl has night. Now, the werewolf works better at night, so she suggests testing the locks for it because they should be able to open it. Testing them one by one, she checks all the doors to find them all, except for this one, which Kentaro checks for himself. He says the 3rd wolf has already died, but she never considers that he's manipulating her for the 2nd time. Okay, running away from werewolves seems like it should be the right decision, but it was probably the worst thing he could have done. The rules say that the villagers can't leave their rooms at night, and jumping out the window is no exception. But this wasn't his biggest mistake. This kid took a leadership position from the very beginning of the game, and that's what got him killed. He interfered with the werewolves' plans by tricking the players into making contradicting claims, and this helped expose the werewolves hidden among them. It's important to try and figure out who the wolves are, but the skater put himself in too much of the spotlight, and that's a surefire way of getting murdered. Now this reveals a very important overall strategy for any role in the werewolf game. You don't want to be too outspoken because you'll get targeted, but if you're too quiet like Anna was, you'll end up looking suspicious. The goal is to strike the perfect balance between being influential and not drawing any attention to yourself. Now as for the werewolves, they missed out on a golden opportunity here. The game killed the skater because he broke the rules, and that's a technicality that they should absolutely be taken advantage of, because it might mean that the werewolves still get to kill someone if they play their cards right. Before the boy threw himself out the window, the skater reminded the wolves that they can still choose another door to open as long as they don't step in his room. This information is gold, because if they hadn't entered the room, then this kid's death might not have actually counted as an official werewolf kill. The wolves should already know that the game will kill any villagers who break the rules, because on the first night when Shiki tried to fight back, he broke the rules by harming another player and was immediately killed by his collar. Since they didn't technically kill anyone yet, I would have taken advantage of this by testing all the other doors first to see if we can open any. If we can, then it might mean we can get rid of 2 villagers in a single night instead of just 1. Now there's one more extremely important detail here that you missed. When the werewolves opened the door, the skater boy was sitting at his desk instead of sleeping in bed. One compelling reason he would be working this late at night is because he might have a special role. For example, the medium, and he's trying to map out information to discover who the werewolves are. Now if you look back, this skater was very suspicious of the nerdy kid Joe, because he claimed that the first dead victim was the fox. Since the medium lets you see if a dead player is a werewolf or not, this claim must be exactly what he was investigating here. Now What's absolutely hilarious is that since the medium just died, there's nobody left to contradict Joe as a fake seer, or confirm that Ayaka is the fox. Both Ayaka and Joe benefit from this kill more than anybody else, and that makes the rest of this game an absolute nightmare scenario. The next morning, the group looks out the window to find a skater's corpse lying outside the building. They all head downstairs together to discuss what they should do, but that's when Kentaro here stops in his tracks and turns around. He tells everyone that as a seer, he's discovered that Ayaka is a werewolf, and it takes her completely by surprise. The girl tries to defend herself, but she's absolutely speechless. Kentaro demands she confess the truth, but without thinking, she changes her story and claims that she was actually the medium all along. Ayaka explained she thought the bodyguard wouldn't protect the medium, so she pretended to be the seer to survive. Her crush is skeptical and thinks the real medium might have died already, but the nerdy kid disagrees, explaining that with 8 players left, the medium is much more likely to be alive. That's when Joe delivers his knockout punch and claims that as the seer, he discovered that Tachibana is the real werewolf, and the girl is horrified because he's absolutely right. The players gather in another room, and Tachibana here insists she's innocent, telling the group that Ayaka must be the werewolf. The other players don't know who to believe, but together they come up with a brilliant idea. The group decides to tie all the suspects to their bed and lock them in their rooms until morning. If someone still dies, then there must be another werewolf, but Kentaro argues that it's not fair. If they're tied to their beds all night, then they won't be able to defend themselves against the real werewolves. His objections only make it look more guilty, and the 3 suspects have no choice but to accept the deal. As the players leave, Ayaka and her friend stay behind, knowing that they're both keeping secrets from each other, and that this game is about to turn into a bloodbath. Okay, Ayaka did not play the situation well at all, because changing your claim about what role you have is a dead giveaway that you're a liar. She literally had to pause and think about what to say, and that makes her an easy target for everyone to kill in the next vote. Having said that, this fox has so much plot armor, it's ridiculous, and nobody spoke out to contradict her about being the medium, because the real medium is dead. She also got help from the nerdy kid Joe, because he points out that with only 4 players dead and 8 still living, it's much more likely that she's telling the truth. That night, at the 3rd voting session, Kentaro here tries to convince the group that the real medium is dead and that Ayaka is a werewolf. This kid Yosuke thinks he might be telling the truth, since Ayaka already admitted to lying about being the seer, but then things get out of control. Joe the nerd confronts Kentaro, accusing him of being a fake seer, and the two get into a fight. This kid just can't let it go, but as everyone is distracted in the commotion, Ayaka realizes that it's past 8 o'clock and yells that they're out of time to vote. Suddenly, everyone's collars start to tighten around their necks, and the players choke in complete agony. They're all going to die if they don't do something fast, so the group desperately casts their votes. That's 5 votes for the second werewolf, 1 vote for the fox, 1 vote for her crush, and 1 vote for the nerdy student. Everyone's collar finally loosens except for Kentaro here, who's been voted for execution. Furious, he crawls into this girl for betraying him, but she pushes him off as he becomes another victim of the game. That's 5 down, with 7 more students to go. Later that night, the group ties up the suspected werewolf Tachibana along with the fox and her friend Ozawa. They hope to narrow down the suspects and confirm who among them is a werewolf, but the whole strategy is about to backfire in the most unexpected way. During the night, Tachibana here tries to get out of her hand ties, but then she notices that beneath her pillow is a knife. The 3rd werewolf is still alive and left it for her to escape. Cutting herself loose, she barges into Ozawa's room and demands to know if she's the last werewolf. The girl is terrified and denies it, but the wolf doesn't believe her and checks under the player's bed for any weapons. She doesn't find any, which means she's just a villager, but now the girl knows too much and the wolf has no choice but to kill her. Tachibana attacks her with the knife, but Ozawa kicks her away, leaving a massive cut on the werewolf's cheek. It's a death sentence, and there's no way for her to hide it from the other players. Furious, she brutally stabs the girl to death, and that's 6 down with 6 more students to go. Okay, this girl just made a fatal mistake, but this must be why every slasher villain wears a face mask. As a werewolf, it's dangerous to be attacking these people every night, and it explains why Kentaro tricked her into killing the first victim. With a villager like Shiki, it was too easy to get injured, and he didn't want to put himself at risk. Now that Tachibana here has a cut that's impossible to hide, it's a dead giveaway that she's the werewolf. She was supposed to be tied down, and nobody will believe that she got this cut from lying in bed. But with a a little bit of luck, there's one opportunity we can exploit that might save our lives. We have to look at every problem like it's a potential solution, and right now what we have to work with is a dead body. I would drag this girl into my bedroom and stage a scene that makes her look like she was the one trying to kill me instead of the other way around. Then we might have a shot at convincing the other players that Ozuma was the werewolf, but that we managed to escape her hand ties and kill her in self-defense. In this context, all of a sudden the cut on her cheek can be used as circumstantial evidence that works in her favor, instead of working against her. It's still a Hail Mary strategy, but as long as we can keep all the villagers to be unsure of what's true and what's false, we might still have a chance to survive. Later in the restroom, she washes the blood off her face and is frustrated that the players will be able to see her wound. But that's when she hears someone walking towards her. Finally, she gets to be the third werewolf after all this time, but she's completely shocked to see who it is. The next morning, the fox is woken up with the news that another player was killed last night. She goes to her friend's room to see for herself, and it's shocking. That's when Tachibana walks in, but Ayaka notices the massive cut on her cheek. The girl has no choice but to admit that she's a werewolf and got hurt last night during the murder. The rest of the group arrives, and the girl confesses that she's the last wolf in the game, but the fox is still alive. She explains that if they kill her, the fox will automatically win and everyone will die. The nerd insists he already killed the fox Shiki by using his seer abilities, but she tells everyone that he's a liar. She knows this because she personally killed Shiki on the first night and it had nothing to do with Joe. Later that day, Ayaka here visits the werewolf Tachibana when the girl accuses her of being the fox. She's figured it out, and the fox finally has to admit that she lied about being a medium. That's when this girl Manny suddenly appears in the doorway and reveals that she's the third werewolf. She had been hiding this whole time, and explains that the other wolf Kentaro approached her, telling her to stay in her room, and Tachibana realizes this must have been why he showed up late on the first night. Mary admits that this is her second game, and the first time she played was with Kentaro the werewolf in Ayaka's crush. She knows that Yosuke has got a thing for her, and that's why he'll take her side when she tells him that Ayaka here is the fox. With both werewolves and her crush Yosuke voting against Ayaka, they'll have a majority vote, and she's guaranteed to die. Later, the fox here goes to the roof to ask her crush Yosuke if there's anyone in this game that he cares for. He tells her that Manny is a close friend, with no idea that she's a werewolf. Hearing this, the fox asks if he would still trust Mary if she was lying about someone's role, and he tells her he would. The girl realizes there's nothing she can do to change his mind, and leaves the rooftop with her heart broken. Hopeless, Ayaka walks back to the building, but is surprised to find Tachibana secretly waiting for her downstairs. That's when this girl does something completely unexpected, and tells Ayaka that she wants her to win the game. After what they've been through, she can't continue living with survivor's guilt, and the fox promises that she won't give up. That night, it's time for the final voting session, and all the players already know who they're going to pick. But Ayaka here has a plan that will finally end the game. Pretending to be the medium, she tells the group that the fox is still alive, and thinks she knows who it is. Since the nerdy student is believed to be the seer, and her crush is confirmed to be a villager, that means she can only accuse either Manny here or this girl Saiki of being the fox. Ayaka warns her crush that he's been manipulated by the wolf, and if he blindly follows Manny's advice, he's going to get killed. It's the last thing she'll ever say to him, and the group casts their final vote. 2 people vote for the fox. 1 person votes for Tachibana, the werewolf, and 3 people vote for Saiki, the villager, making her the game's next victim. To everyone's surprise, this wolf voted for the villager Saiki instead of the fox, which saved Ayaka's life and ended the game. Suddenly, the TV turns on, telling them that the fox survived and has won. Everyone's collars start to tighten, and Ayaka can do nothing except watch her friends die before her very eyes. That's 11 down, and the fox is the sole winner of the game. The girl's collar unlocks itself, and she rips it off, finally free to escape. The next day, she sets her car on fire, mourning the loss of her friends, but having learned an important lesson. It's better to have loved and killed than never to have loved at all. But what do you think? How would you beat Werewolf Game Crazy Fox? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, leave a like and subscribe, and check out the Hounds of Being Playlist for more videos like this. Until next time, have a damn good day.
It's not always easy to picture the American spirit. Sure, it's easy to see America on a map by traveling.
If you are a student trapped at school, and everyone in your class has turned into a murderous zombie, in this video, I'll be covering the perspective of the high school students. The next video, break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the zombies in all of us who are dead. This is about to become hell. Class is divided into two, and Kim Jr. wakes up to find that her friends are playing water. As she gets to the point, the girl hears a voice from the science lab and decides to check it out. She discovers a strange bluish pattern on the ground and lifts up the cover when it comes outside. The girl sticks her finger out, sniffing a creature latches out to the place. She notices that the animal is infected with the disease and has no idea that it's just starting to suffer again. The next morning, the students are getting ready to take a test and they all look at their books. When this teacher realizes that one of the girls is missing, the nerd remembers she was last seen yesterday in the science lab, but nobody has seen her since. Suddenly, the missing girl stumbles into the room, and everyone is shocked to see her covered in blood as she collapses to the ground in exhaustion. Taking her out of the classroom, the girl brings the girl to the infirmary and lays her down on a bed while the teacher calls for emergency services, but the girl's condition is getting worse. The students hold her down as she begins thrashing loudly and manages to scratch her classroom with the paste. The ambulance finally arrives and they put the girl into a van while the is rapidly. The man reassures him about the fact that treatment is going to be with that, they find all the cameras and the teachers are the students to lie about the students are walking past the nurse is standing where she's talking, but she turns around and sees her. She must have been dead, and suddenly runs at the students, crashing straight into them. The boys laugh at her, but she quickly stands back up and takes a deep breath as she comes head, terrified, his red flesh dead. The student has been dead. Runs into each other classroom and begins to use more flesh. This would have been a good day to call this. The zombie virus is just like the disease, and it's horrible. There's no pretension to appear that way. The scariest thing about this is not the zombie. It's actually how fast it can get something after it. It took him exactly 20 seconds to know, and actually 30 seconds to turn green. At this rate, it's going to be a matter of minutes before the entire school is infected, and that means there's very little time to decide what you should do. Your natural instinct will be to run off campus as quickly as possible, but there's a reason why that might be a mistake. For starters, it's important to realize that zombie outbreaks aren't contained, they're only slowed down. Eventually, this is going to spread everywhere, and that means the outside world will be just as dangerous. Now, buildings are very valuable resources, because if we leave, we'll just be looking for another place to take shelter that has food and water and homes to hide. Here, we already have it all, including a kitchen, which would have food supplies for thousands of students. This is as good as it gets, and the smartest thing to do is defend the castle and slowly clear the zombies out over time. Once we've decided to stay, we'll need to find the best place to hide. You might be thinking of locking yourself in one of these classrooms until rescue arrives, but this would be another horrible mistake. If you look here, you'll notice that these are sliding doors, which means that the only thing keeping it in place is a small wooden rail system at the top of the frame. It's incredibly flimsy, and that's why wherever we hide, we need to have a conventional hinge door, which is much smaller. We also want to choose a location that has some strategic significance to help us survive as long as possible. These will be places that keep valuable resources like food and water, technology, or anything that will need to keep us alive and get help. Now, when you're in the middle of a zombie outbreak, it's hard to be thinking this far ahead, but one of the most valuable places in any building is the security room. If we can monitor the entire school, we'll be able to track the zombie movements, giving us a better chance to acquire the resources we need to survive. You might think that this place doesn't have one, but the Korean government spent $30 million to install CCTV cameras in every single grade school in the city. That means we can be fairly certain that this school would have cameras feeding into some kind of security system, which would have been a huge advantage. But they don't realize an even deadlier apocalypse is happening right under their noses. The Battle Cats is a brutal and satisfying game where you lead an army of cute yet ruthless cats in their mission to conquer the universe. Enjoy destroying humanity in the most adorable way possible with a huge variety of unique battle cats such as and even super rare cats such as Dark Beast Garu, and many, many more. This is such a great game to play in your free time, especially if you're bored and have time to kill. I don't know what it is about cutting down an alien boss's head with an underwater giant cat robot chainsaw, but I love it. This game really shines in being able to use weirdness and creativity to create a fun experience. In each stage, you'll have to face distinctive enemies, fighting in different landscapes and using different team structures and strategies in order to get the win. You can also use the in-game cat capsule system to unlock top-level cats with awesome destructive power, or instead choose purely based on your favorite designs and find a way to win regardless. Download the Battle Cats on iOS or Android for free using the link in the description. Lunar New Year events are on now, including special rare capsule discounts, special stages, and a free gift of 777 cat food or more. Thank you to the Battle Cats for sponsoring this video. Meanwhile, in the cafeteria, Ninja is talking to her childhood friend Chung-san, and the girl admits she has a crush on one of his friends. He asks if the boy likes her too, but she doesn't know. Ninja begins to walk away, and that's when the guy realizes he has feelings for her, but he's picked the worst possible time for a high school romance. Suddenly, a crowd of students burst into the cafeteria, shattering the front doors. Nobody understands what's going on, and as the students start scrambling, Ninja sees a zombie storm into the room. Running to save her, Chung-san picks her up, looking around for another way out. They head towards the windows to try and escape, and Ninja climbs through first, with the boy following close behind. They land outside and run through the school until they reach the soccer field, but their way is blocked. Zombies are everywhere, and there's nowhere left to go, but that's when the truck comes wheeling in and crashes straight to the side of the school. Seeing their chance, they quickly climb up towards the roof of the truck and manage to pull themselves onto this balcony, where they find a window leading them back into the building. They make their way through the corridors and find a classroom where other students are taking shelter. Banging on the windows for help, the students let them in, quickly closing the doors behind them. Eunju reunites with her friend, and they're both relieved to see each other still alive. But the situation is about to get much worse. They all take a moment to calm down, and the group realizes that none of them have phones to call for help. Discouraged, this student walks over to guard the doors, but that's when the teacher suddenly barges into the room. Relieved to find safety, he immediately takes control and instructs the kids to start barricading the entrance. They quickly follow his orders, but this girl notices something terrifying, pointing out that the teacher has a bite mark on his arm. The student freezes in fear, and the man tries to deny it, but nobody believes him.
No, we're not there yet. We're getting there.
Complete your holiday wish list with a free limited edition bracelet when you shop Pandora Jewelry.
The girl insists he leave the room, and her classmates agree, but as the teacher walks up to discipline her, he suddenly collapses to the floor. The man quickly begins to transform as the students watch in horror, and before they can stop him, he charges at this girl, biting deep into her throat. Another student picks him up and tosses the man aside, but it's too late. The girl has already been infected. Thinking quickly, Chung-san uses a table and pins the teacher up against the wall as his friend holds back the zombie-like girl, helping the others escape from the classroom. Together, they all run across the building looking for another place to hide, but more zombies appear at the other end of the hallway. This kid Soo-yuk fights them off as best as he can, and the others rip off window frames, using them like a shield wall. That's when the big kid charges forward with a door and starts pushing the monsters away. It's working, and the students manage to back them down into the stairwell, taking their chance to run up to the next floor. Okay, these students could have avoided this entire situation. When the teacher ran into their classroom, the boy asked him if he was bitten, and the man said no, but they never made him prove it. In a situation like this, everyone is going to be desperate, so I would have made the teacher strip down to his tiny whities to prove that he didn't have a bite mark, or else he has to leave. Trust can get us easily killed if it's not managed carefully, and that's why I would establish a strict script search policy before anyone new is allowed to join the group. Now, understanding the strengths and weaknesses of our enemies is going to help us kill them more efficiently, but we can only learn this by observing their behavior. Thankfully, there were already signs that tell us more about the zombie virus if we were paying attention. One of the most dangerous things about this scenario isn't just that they can bite you, it's that they can pack a huge amount of force when they gather together. What's interesting is that this dynamic has actually been studied extensively from incidents called crowd crush. A modern example of this is the Travis Scott concert at the Astro World Festival that injured over 300 people. The mechanics of crowd crush are actually terrifying because if there's enough of them, these zombies can cause a pressure wave that becomes so densely packed it can literally exert thousands of pounds of force force in every direction. A crowd of zombies like this is not something you can stop. And when you realize that the majority of these classroom doors are made out of either glass or wood, it's clear that we need to move to a safer environment before it's too late. As dangerous as this is, it also might be something we can use against them. In a crowd crush, people become victims of their own biology because pure instinct takes over, preventing thousands of people from being able to remain calm. Instinct is exactly how zombies behave, and if you give them the right trigger and a distraction to follow, we might be able to funnel them into a small area like one of these stairwells and force them into their own crowd crush where they can't escape. They make it up to the next floor, but they find themselves surrounded on both sides, and as the kids try to get into the classroom, they discover the door has been padlocked shut. There's no way in, but that's when Jun here has a clever idea. Reaching for the fire hose, she pulls it from the box and uses it to break the lock. All the students quickly run inside before closing the door behind them. They're safe from the monsters for now, and everyone begins barricading the windows to stop the zombies from entering. The class takes a break and settles in as they wait for help to arrive, but it's starting to look hopeless. Utra comforts her friend Isa and holds her hand for emotional support, but that's when she realizes something is wrong. Her hand is cold, and blood starts dripping from her nose. She's been bitten, and the girl tries to deny it, but the signs are clear. Chungsun steps in to pull his friend back, and the girl collapses to the floor, quickly transforming into a full-fledged zombie. She tries running for Ucha, but the boy shoves her out of the classroom window, sending the zombie falling to her death. The group is getting loose, but seeing the open window, Chungsun suddenly realizes there's another way to escape. He suggests they should get the fire hose so they can use it to climb down the building. The others agree with his plan, so he grabs the arm of an anatomy dummy and manages to silently drag the hose through the door. His plan worked, and the students help to tie footholds into the makeshift rope before the boy throws it out the window. This kid, Young-soo, decides to go down first, and he lowers himself to the second floor, surprised to discover that his teacher has been hiding just below them. She opens the window to let the boy in, and the others all climb down to join them until the last of the students have made it safe inside the building. The kids ask the teacher if she called the cops, and the woman assures them help is on the way, but the students are surprised that nobody has shown up yet. Noticing the computer, the nerd points out that the internet should still be working, and the group looks for information about the zombie outbreak, but they're interrupted when the fire hose nozzle suddenly breaks the window. Chungsun hears the approach to check it out, when a zombie drops down. He grabs a mop and tries to push it out, but the mop handle breaks apart. That's when Soo-young suddenly pulls it out of his friend's hands and thrusts the handle straight into the monster's shoulder, but the zombie won't know. Joining in, this kid picks up the computer and hits the zombie, knocking it off the floor. This student is an idiot. He's just taken one of the group's most valuable resources and used it as a blunt weapon. If the kid needed something to defend himself, there were tons of other objects he could have thrown instead, like this speaker here. Now, in reality, this zombie would have been a much more serious problem, because bashing him in the head is not going to suddenly knock his foot loose, and that means we need a better strategy to handle the situation. If it were me, I would open this other window, then take these XLR cables here and wrangle the zombie to pull it sideways. This would give another student the chance to safely climb up and untangle the zombie's leg. As risky as it sounds, it's much better than using our only contact with the outside world as a blunt weapon. Now, the internet is one of the most useful survival tools on the planet, and though it might sound harsh, that makes this computer more valuable than any one student. This actually brings up an important point, because one of the hardest adjustments we'll have to make in a zombie apocalypse is putting the group first instead of the individual. Friendships are important, but we also have to protect ourselves from our own humanity, because it leads us to decisions that work against our survival. This girl here is the perfect example, because even though she's clearly showing signs of infection, her friend is defending her against the entire group. This dynamic is not safe, so we need to establish a set of basic rules that removes the risk of emotional decision-making before it's too late. The first rule is to always quarantine any member of the group who might be infected. We're not sure yet how long it takes to transform, because this student took only 30 seconds to turn, but the teacher here took much longer. That's why I would insist on a 30-minute quarantine before letting anyone rejoin the group. The best way to do this is to use the furniture in the room and barricade the student into the corner as quickly as we can, until we're certain they're no longer a threat. The second rule is, if you know that someone has been bitten, then they should take the honorable way out, or else we'll have to kill them. It's not personal, it's just a safety measure. And if we all spend too much time saying goodbye, then one innocent hug can turn deadly. The third rule is, everyone should pair up with another student and create a buddy system where you alone are responsible for your partner, and vice versa. It's one of the simplest and most effective strategies for survival, because you always have someone watching your back. This is actually how the FARC guerrilla fighters in Colombia organize their army as well. They pair up all the soldiers, but take this one step further and routinely change the pair groups. That way, the soldiers don't form attachments to each other, and it prevents them from emotional decision-making, protecting the entire army as a result. The added benefit here is that nobody will ever be alone, so if someone is undermining the group's survival for selfish reasons, there's enough accountability to protect the group. They all take a moment to catch their breaths. When Naon here notices that Youngsu's nose is bleeding and accuses him of being bitten, he defends himself, explaining that he got hit in the face during the attack, but the girl points out that he also has a scratch on his hand. She insists it's a bite mark and the students are no control.
If something happened to me, you need to get my Google account to reset one of my accounts or something like that. You can click on that because my Google account is linked to my Yahoo account. So, say instance something happened to me and you needed my password to my bank account or something like that, you can request to reset my password if you can't get in that account, and it's gonna send a request to Yahoo. But this, you would be able to, if you need to reset my Yahoo password, you could do it from here because this is linked to my Yahoo. I don't know that it would let me add my Yahoo email to that. I have to mess with it and see. Because I think it's just Gmail accounts that's going to let me add. Yeah, it's only going to let you add Google because it's on Gmail. So you could use my Gmail account with nothing else. But I'm just showing that you could do that. So on here, we're going to switch apps. And then I'm going to switch to manage apps. Go to the manage apps and then I'm going to manage and not install. These are the apps that's on your other devices that are not installed. So your games that you play a lot, you could install them. The ones that you don't play, I wouldn't install it because it's going to use up a lot of memory. But you can go down here and select all you do is click right here on which of these boxes right here, and then when you finish, once you click them, all once you want to keep that right there, and it's going to download it. And I'm going to install it. But that's what you do. You click the box and you click install for the ones you want to use. Now some of these will say not available for this device. Chromebook don't allow you to install certain apps. So if it says not allowed to install, you can install on them. But you can go through there and see which ones you play the most and put on them. Just be careful with that that tablet, because that tablet, and you drop it and it could break. So if you're gonna stand it on the surface that's not sturdy, I would take that keyboard, cause that keyboard will make it fall forward easier. It don't fall forward as easy without the keyboard. So if you're gonna put it on a surface that's unsturdy, take it off the keyboard.
So the teacher intervenes and tells the boy to stay in the recording booth so they can monitor his symptoms. Accepting the deal, the boy moves into the other room, but 30 minutes later, everyone can clearly see that he's not showing any symptoms. Upset that she's been proven wrong, Nayeon here heads inside the recording booth to apologize, but the others don't know that she still wants revenge. Emotional, she grabs his hand and starts stabbing him with a rat, but this reaction is going to get through. That night, insisting that Yosu is still alive. They think she's lying. They try to look at Yosu. They discover that his nose has suddenly started bleeding. Terrified, the boy realizes he's been infected but doesn't understand how it happened. The kid promises to leave for a minute and walks over to the kid. But suddenly, his symptoms intensify and he collapses, slowly transforming into a zombie.
You don't marry the like of your life. You marry the love of your life. And on your wedding day, you want to like the way you look. You want to love the way you look. And we're here to help with designs that just look out and find in your way. Men's wear out. Love the way you look.
has even considered finding supplies to arm themselves, and if they don't start strategically planning for self-defense, they won't be able to move through the school to get the resources they need to survive. The next morning, Chung-san looks out the window, worried that nobody is coming for them, but the boy has an idea to escape. He tells Unju that all their phones are still downstairs, and his friend tries to stop him, but he's determined to get help. With Soo-hyuk joining him, they climb across the ledge, lowering themselves down the drain pipe to peek inside the teacher's room. He sees a group of zombies inside, but to their luck, a noise suddenly lures them out into the hallway. It's their best opportunity, and the boys sneak inside, careful not to make a sound. Chung-san sees a phone on the floor and reaches out to pick it up, but the zombies are coming back inside, and his friend grabs it to escape before it's too late. Checking the phone, he realizes that it's been shattered, and runs back in to find another one, as Soo-hyuk has no choice but to climb back outside. Moving quickly, Chung-san runs into the hallway, managing to escape the zombies, and darts into a nearby office, closing the door behind him, but is surprised to find tying up the principal. The man screams for help, and Chung-san tells the boy to stop, pulling out the phone to record evidence. Wayne declares that he's the king of the school now, and as the principal tries to run away, he turns around, slitting his throat. The student is shocked, but as the bully approaches, asking for the phone, and he's ready to tail him. The two students start fighting, and Chung-san manages to knock him over the table before running out of the room as the bully chases after him. He runs into the library, where the place is completely crowded with zombies. It's a dead end, but he manages to avoid the monsters by climbing up onto a bookcase for safety. The bully follows him up and chases the kid across the library before quickly tackling him and pinning him down. Chung-san has nowhere to go, and the zombies are about to grab him when he suddenly shoves the phone straight into the kid's eye before throwing him over the edge. The zombies swarm in, eating him alive, but the boy swears that he'll get his revenge as Chung-san escapes the library. Desperate, he runs for a small maintenance hatch in the hallway and climbs inside to safety at the last second. It's a tight fit, but the zombies have no way to follow him inside, and he finally has a chance to call for help. He turns it on and is horrified to discover that all signals are jammed. The entire province is under lockdown, and he realizes that he'll have to survive this all on his own. Okay, this was not smart. Going downstairs to get the phones is a great idea, but the problem is that these kids went out with no preparation whatsoever. They don't have weapons or any kind of protective gear, and it's making this plan a lot more dangerous. Now, earlier in the cafeteria, there was a really important observation to make about the zombie's behavior. When Chung-san here kicked the zombie to the ground, instead of getting back up to bite him, it immediately ran in the opposite direction to attack another student nearby. This means these zombies are only able to focus on the last thing that stimulates their attention, and don't have the mental capacity to remember anything. This is a major advantage, and it means we should be able to learn the way of reputation with any kind of noise or visual distraction. Now, we don't want to use the PA system because the speakers are in the ceilings, and it will make the zombies look up. Fortunately for us, the school is full of interesting resources to help us with this experience. If it were me, I would climb the fire hose up to the science lab first, grab a Bunsen burner kit, and bring it back down to the teacher's office. Then, we can light some of these books on fire and throw them in the opposite corner of the room. Based on what we've seen so far, the zombies are going to instantly gravitate towards the distraction because it's a sensory stimulus, and it will give us a window of opportunity to sneak in and grab a phone while nobody's looking. We can even test this idea before entering the room, and one of the added benefits here is that zombies don't feel pain. This means they don't have any natural biological mechanisms to prevent them from harm, and there's a good possibility that the zombies will light themselves up in the process. We also don't have to worry about setting fire to the school, because as we saw in the cafeteria, the building's sprinkler system is still working, and if the flames got too high, it would trigger the alarm to put the fire out. Now, there's one interesting possibility that this presents for us, because when a human dies, their decomposing bodies leak enzymes from the cells, and it starts producing a huge amount of gas. But the most surprising thing is that several of these gases are combustible, like methane and ammonia. Now, if this process of decomposition was happening faster than normal, then there's a possibility that all of these zombies are filled with flammable gases waiting to explode, and all it takes is a fire to set them off. It's just a theory, but it's not hard to test, and finding ways to use the zombies' biology against them might be the smartest method to stay alive. In the audio, Unju here is worried about her friend Chung-san, but suddenly has an idea of how to help her. She remembers that the science club was making drones for a school project, and it's her best way to find where their friend is. The nerd here agrees to help, and they climb up the rope to retrieve them. They find the drones and bring them back to the classroom, setting one up and flying it outside to search for their missing friend. Scanning through the school, they find Chung-san inside the music room, and he's still alive. He managed to make it out of the maintenance hatch, and the group is relieved, but their lives are about to become a lot more difficult. In the library, the bully He somehow survived, but hasn't turned into a zombie. The boy is immune to the virus, and now he'll have his chance to get revenge on Chung-san. In the recording, Minju is talking with her friend Ji-min, who's overwhelmed by the situation and needs to rest. She lies her head down on the desk, but accidentally presses the intercom button, alerting everyone outside. The class president walks into the room to turn it off, and that's when she has a clever idea. The girl explains that if they use the PA system to play music on one side of the halls, the zombies will go in that direction, allowing them to get Chung-san and reach the rooftop to signal for help. They all agree, and with the plan set, the music starts playing throughout the school. Instantly, the zombies begin clearing the hallways to follow the sound, and the plan is working.
Dry eye symptoms keep driving you crazy? Inflammation in your eye might be to blame.
Time for eating.
But there's a problem. One of the zombies is stuck on the wall right outside their room, and he's not leaving. Realizing it's their only option, the group walks out to the hall, quietly sneaking behind the zombie, but that's when the nerd drops his bomb. It alerts the zombie, who turns around, and the group sprints up the stairs as Soo-hyuk stays behind to fight off the monster. He's tackled to the ground, and moments away from dying, when suddenly he's saved by the bully at the last second. Nam here asks where Chung-san is, explaining he wants to get revenge for what he did to his eye, but Soo-hyuk refuses to tell. Furious, the bully starts attacking him, throwing the boy to the ground and grabs his throat. That's when the class president rushes in to help, but Nam bites her arm and throws the girl aside. He's about to kill her when Soo-hyuk runs into him, knocking the student straight out the window. Okay, Chung-san moved up big time. He made an enemy out of this bully, and now he's come back to get revenge. We should be horrified by this, because Nam is completely immune to the virus and can go anywhere that he wants in the school. This kid has the freedom to sabotage every aspect of our survival, and with 9 lives to protect, we have to actually consider whether or not we should give Chung-san up. Right now, staying alive is already a full-time job, but if we play our cards right, we can turn this problem into an opportunity. If the zombies don't recognize Nam as human, it means he can find a school, lure zombies out of hallways, and even go outside to acquire more useful resources. With all this in mind, it's actually irresponsible to protect Chung-san, because it's going to put everyone in the group at risk as long as he's here. The best way to handle this is to try to make a treaty with the bully and negotiate terms for Chung-san's surrender. It's not personal, it's just survival. And in a zombie apocalypse, we'll all have to make difficult choices just like this one. Now, as for their escape plan, all I can say is they took way too long to figure this out. These kids were sitting in this audio room for more than a full day and night, and only now have they considered experimenting with the PA system. This should have been the first thing they looked at, because every single object needs to be considered as a potential tool for survival. These kids literally spent more time thinking about how to make a makeshift toilet than a makeshift weapon, and it's tragic. At the very least, they did the right thing and used the drone, but they still made a huge mistake. If I had a drone in this situation, I wouldn't send it out for longer than 10 minutes at a time. The batteries of these machines have an extremely short lifespan, and it's way too valuable to just use once and crash it. They should have brought it back to recharge, because there was another benefit here that these students never considered. Right now, it's extremely dangerous to leave the classroom, and so far, distractions only work in isolated settings where the zombies are lured to a single location. This drone changes that, because it makes enough noise for the zombies to be drawn to it, and it can move through the building for at least 10 minutes at a time. With this in mind, the smartest way to use this drone is to systematically herd all the zombies out of the hallway and up the stairs, giving us the chance to leave for supplies completely unnoticed. We can see on this map that there are 3 stairwells, and that means the drone can do circular laps burning the zombies up as we head down, and barricade all 3 stairwells in an organized effort. The group finally arrives at the music room, and everyone is happy to see Chung-san is still alive. They quickly close the curtains to block the zombies and take a moment to catch their breaths, but that's when this girl notices something horrifying. The class president has been bitten, and all the students start to panic. Soo-hyuk here steps in to defend her and explains that she was bitten by the bully, not a zombie, but there's a problem. Chung-san reveals that he saw Nam get bitten with his own eyes, and knows for sure that the girl must be infected. The boy insists Nam wasn't a zombie, but that's when the girl climbs up on the windowsill, declaring that she's ready to sacrifice herself for the group if she turns. Soo-hyuk waits with her to see what will happen, but after a while, the girl starts to feel something strange. The students realize she has somehow resisted becoming a zombie, but she's not fully human either, and They decide to keep her in the group, knowing that it's putting all of them in danger. Later, Soo-hyuk sits down with the infected girl to monitor her symptoms, but the class president suddenly hears something strange. Getting up, she slowly walks towards the wall to find out where the sound is, but nobody else can hear anything. That's when the girl realizes her hearing has been enhanced, and it must be a symptom of the virus. Feeling uneasy,
but they got a different way you can put it on there. So the ones like Bank of America that you can't put on there, there's a different way you could add it. I'll show you how to put that on there.
she insists they can't stay here forever and need to reach the roof. But Unjo already has a brilliant idea. Together, the students gather all the furniture and build a massive barricade in the center of the room, connecting this video camera to the sound system so they can lure the zombies to the other side. Opening the door, they let the zombies into the room, making as much noise as they can to draw them in until the hallway outside is clear. Their plan is working, and the group starts leaving the barricade one by one, but they don't realize the bully has survived his fall, and he knows exactly where they're headed. The group goes up the staircase and runs for the rooftop, but they discover the door has been locked shut. They don't realize that another student is on the other side and has been waiting this whole time to be rescued. Suddenly, he spots a helicopter in the distance, and it's flying straight towards the school. Inside the staircase, the group can't break through the locked door, and the zombies are closing in on them. They throw a tarp over the stairwell to stop them from coming up, and the plan seems to be working, but that's when the bully steps through. He's here to get his revenge, and Chung-sun realizes he's made a terrible mistake. Nam climbs up the staircase and manages to block the kid's attack before pulling him closer. The bully is about to gouge his eye out when the class president intervenes, grabbing him by the throat and tossing him down the stairs. Chung-sun can't believe what he's seen, and the girl stares at her hand in shock, surprised